Memory management in Java is a critical aspect of the language's runtime system, ensuring efficient use of memory resources and preventing memory leaks. So, Java memory management involves the automatic allocation and deallocation of objects, which is managed by the Java Virtual Machine, that is JVM. The JVM handles memory management automatically using its garbage collector, which distinguishes it from languages like C or C++, where developer must manually manage memory. The JVM memory structure is organized into several key areas that manage the execution of Java programs. Understanding this memory layout is essential for optimizing Java performance and troubleshooting issues like memory leaks or out of memory. Let's see Java um, JVM memory structure. The memory in JVM is primarily divided into heap memory, the stores objects and runtime data, which is accessible to all threads. Then we have non-heap memory, which stores per class structure such as constants, and it also includes method area. So the method area stores class level informations like a runtime constant pool, which is part of non-heap. So then we have stack memory, PC register, and native method stack. So all this for one per thread, and stack memory stores local variables and partial results. PC registry contains the address of current instruction. Then native method stack supports native code execution. Let's break down each JVM memory. So first we'll see heap memory. Heap memory is the runtime data area from which memory for all class instance and arrays is allocated, basically objects. So it's the largest part of JVM memory and is managed by garbage collector. So it is divided into young generation and old generation. That is like young generation is an area where new objects are allocated, and it is further divided into hidden space and survivor space. So, like in hidden space, like new objects are created, and the object that survive garbage collection in Eden are moved to survivor space. That is S1 and S0. So, young generation is managed by minor GC, which is frequent and fast, and old generation stores long lived object, and it is managed by major GC. So object that survive several minor GCs are promoted to old generation. So then comes a non-heap memory. Non-heap memory refers to a memory areas managed by a JVM outside the regular Java heap. It is used to store class metadata, compiled bytecode, method information, and other runtime structures not directly related to instance data. It includes method area and meta space, that is since Java 8. So before Java 8, we had a method area which stores class structures like class name, method data, field data, a runtime constant pool, and method area basically was part of permanent generation space before Java 8. So permanent generation is a fixed size memory pool which used to hold class metadata, static variables, intern strings. So it is removed in Java 8 due to memory limitation. So metaspace, like which is introduced from Java 8, like which replaced permanent generation. It is allocated in native memory, not part of heap, and it grows automatically by default, and it can be limited. So there are JVM tuning options available for metaspace, like metaspace size for initial size and max metaspace size for maximum size. Then we have code cache and symbol table. Like code cache stores JIT compiled native code, and like string pool used to be in permanent generation before. Since Java 7, the intern string pool is moved to the heap. So then comes the stack memory area. So the stack memory is responsible for like storing method call frames for individual threads. So it contains local variables, often stack, returned address. So each thread gets its own stack. So here you can see is a like again the diagram for JVM memory. We have stack memory, heap memory. So Java stack memory is responsible for holding references to heap objects and for storing value types, which holds the value itself rather than a reference to an object from the heap. In addition, variable on the stack have a certain visibility, so also called scope. Only objects from a native scope are used. For example, assuming that we do not have any global scope variables or fields and only local variables, if the compiler executes a method's body, it can access only objects from the stack that are within the method body. It cannot access other local variables as those are out of scope. So each method call has its own scope, and method like the variables which are out of scope can't be accessed. So once the method completes and returns, the top of the stack pops out and active scope changes. So each method has its own scope and it's get popped out or freed once it's done its task. So maybe you have noticed here there are multiple stack memories displayed. So this is due to the fact that the stack memory in Java is allocated per thread. Therefore, each time a thread is created and started, it has its own stack memory and cannot access other thread stack memory. So then we have other two things like program counters, native method stack. So PC register holds the address of currently executing JVM instruction for each thread, and the purpose of native method stack is to store information about native like non-Java method calls, so used when Java interacts with native code via Java native interface. So then we have a memory pool. Like memory pools are created by JVM Memory Manager to create a pool of immutable objects in the implementation. Like if the implementation support it. So string pool is a good example of this kind of memory pool. A string constant pool is a separate place in heap memory. So it's a separate place in the heap memory itself, like where the values of all strings which are defined in the programs are stored. So here is a Java programs to demonstrate how Java variables are stored in different memory areas. So I have created a JVM class with a static instance and local variables to demonstrate how they are stored in different memory areas. So static variables are stored in method area. So it is a static variable. Then we have instance variable which are stored in heap area. Then we have local variables which are stored in stack. As soon as this method is called, a space is allocated in the stack memory, and which has its references, like all references are stored here to, like all object references are pointed in stack memory. We'll see again in other example here, which in line by line. So when we run a program, it loads all the runtime class into a heap space. So the main method in this example, you're seeing like line number 1. Uh, the like now the memory for the main method is allocated in the stack. So here is the stack memory and here is the heap memory. So a memory for a main method is allocated here, and we'll see line by line. So in the line number 2, we are creating local variable. It is going to be created in the stack region. Here you can see. And in the line number 1, we are creating a variable. It's a local variable. Then we are creating objects, uh, object obj and memory. So both the references are here. Like object are stored in heap memory. Like we are creating object, the object is going to be created in heap region and its reference is stored in stack region. Similarly for both, like object and memory, so both are created here and its reference are stored in stack memory. So in line number 5, you are seeing here in line number 5, we are calling the method foo. As I mentioned, like when the method is called, then the memory for the method is going to be allocated in the stack region. So one is for method, and then the new method call, we are creating another memory here. One is for main method, one is for the newly called method. So we are creating one more string object here. You can see string object is created, and from a foo method, like we are creating string method. And another thing, like since Java is a pass by value, the one more reference is created in line number 6. So it's a pass by value. So here you can see it's a reference is created here. Then we have str, that is string object. So it is going to be created in heap memory in the string pool, which I already discussed. The reference is present in stack region. So as soon as the control reaches here, so as soon as the execution comes here, the line number 8, the method loses its scope, the scope is lost, and then the memory that was allocated to the method foo becomes free. So it lost its scope here. Then when line number 6 is executed here, then the main method also loses its scope, and memory allocated to its will get freed. Then Java runtime will free all the memory allocated and execution will is completed. So this is how the memory allocation happens, and JVM take care of all this, and garbage collector will free up the spaces, like it's all automatical. So again, in detail video on Java will be done in next videos, like I will be uploading it in next thing. So this is for Java memory management, and how JVM handles it. Thanks for watching.